Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, Season 8, Episode 7. Season 8, Episode 8, duh. Unsure and insecure. It makes me feel insecure and unsure. As you can see, Just Call Me Wah is under construction. If you watched my Love After a Lockup video, plug, then you will know that I am painting this room. And I decided I was going to sit down because she went on a 7.9 mile walk today and her back is hurting and I cannot stand up to give you that stand-up energy, you feel me? But now you get to see my new couch. This is what the couch looks like. This is the padding that I put on it so that he doesn't come in here and put his little sticky fingers on my couch and mess my couch up. Welcome to those of you who are new to my channel, and if you are a returning person, thank you so much for all of your support. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So yeah, how's about that? She's putting up 4 videos a week. How you like me now? And if you're not watching my Married at First Sight or my Bachelor reviews, then are you really down with Just Call Me Wah? I mean, you don't even have to really watch it. Let me tell you what you can do. Come closer. Come. You can just put it on and let it play and watch all the commercials. You don't even have to look at your phone, just like let it play, you know what I'm saying? And then you'd be totally supporting me. I'd love you forever. Okay, you guys, this was a good episode. It's a long episode. There's a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first couple that we're gonna talk about is Natalie and Mike. I mean, we have to talk about Natalie and Mike because like theirs is the longest bit of business. I have so many notes for them. Mike's mother, Trish, comes and she's got, you know, that hairstyle that where the bang is the bang and then you split it in half and then you do it this way and then you do it this way and then this is straight, you know, that style. You remember it? I remember it. She gets there from Oklahoma and she meets Natalie. There's several awkward moments with Trish, but Trish just powers through it, you know what I mean? She's not going to be deterred by Natalie's intense eyes staring at her, blinking at her like she doesn't understand English. Trish kind of whispers in Mike's ear that they really need to plan a date for this wedding. Trish doesn't think that they're going to last, but she says that they need to take this relationship to its fruition to see what actually is going to happen. So let's rewind it a little bit. It's the next morning after their fight and Natalie is frustrated because she says that Mike doesn't understand what all she's going through. But she bites the bullet and she apologizes to him for her behavior for the night before, and he accepts her apology. My mind is thinking that the reason why she's making amends now is because she knows his mother is coming, and so it's best if there's an atmosphere of positivity before the mother comes so the mother doesn't pick up on Mike's, you know, attitude or Natalie's attitude. Natalie then turns into pouty Natalie. Oh, honey, no. Okay, what do you want for breakfast? Oh, very good. You flipped it. In which Mike loves. Oh, those no. I'm just little Natasha. You know, in order to have a child, we must have an atmosphere which is very good to bring child in. And right now, Mike and I was also fighting, so we don't have this atmosphere. And she also says that she has 2 choices in this. She could either be married or she could be right. And she honestly would choose to be married. I can't fault her on that. She then asks Mike, what's his mother like? And she says, and Mike says, my mother is hard-headed. And he doesn't know how to explain what that means because Natalie doesn't understand it, so they Google it. And when they Google it, it comes up with a definition that I did not think hard-headed was. To me, hard-headed is someone who wants to do what they want to do and isn't going to take anybody's advice. Hard-headed in the dictionary, I guess, or online says not sentimental, which I was like, what? We have Trish. She has come from Oklahoma to hang out with Mike. Mike talks to his mother every other day. They're very close. So this is the opportunity for Trish to see and meet Natalie, the woman that she has been hearing about for like the last 2 years. Trish is well aware of the drama between Mike and Natalie asks Mike if she's aware of it, and he says, yeah, my mom knows what's going on. And Natalie is feeling some kind of way. She says that she thinks that that kind of information should be private, and my thoughts are, not necessarily. You did throw the ring back at him. That's a big deal. That's something you come home and tell people who you're the closest to. And if that person happens to be your mom, then that's something that Natalie is going to have to reckon with. Her decisions and her choices. So Trish brings out a lot of positive behavior in Natalie. Natalie actually apologizes for throwing the ring. She actually explains like how insecure and unsure she feels about being in a relationship with Mike. Trish, however, is more worried about when she's gonna have grandbabies. So it feels like Trish doesn't even care that she doesn't think that they're gonna get along. She just wants a grandchild. So Trish is talking about how she walked the cat one day and then she came across a situation that looked like there was a bear. Mike is just kind of being joking with her and like telling her it'll be fine. All you have to do is lay on the ground. Natalie cannot tell when Mike is joking. And Trish is like, he's joking. I can't tell. You know, he says it so seriously, so I don't know sometimes. So they go out for dinner. They're eating, and Natalie decides that she wants to again try to shame Mike for his food choices, and she tells him not to eat butter. And Trish is like, yeah, you should eat butter. Butter is good for you. And this makes Natalie pause. She's like, I'm not going to argue with this crazy person. And this makes everybody else pause, including the producers, because the producers end up asking Trish about this butter is good for you. And she's like, yeah, no, real butter is real good for your brain. Producers are like, okay. We'll just let you live in that. At dinner, Trish tells Mike that they need to set a date for the wedding. And Natalie's like, yes, love, please. And so he's like, okay, we'll set a date. And Natalie is so excited that she like reaches out to Trish, holds her hand and says, thank you, Trish. Thank you so much. And Trish is like, this relationship is going to crash and burn in hell, but I'm just here for the ride and the grandbabies. So they're looking to pick a date, and Mike suggests April 2nd. And she says, no, I don't like that number. She wants April 3rd because it's the Holy Trinity. Then the producers ask her if they're going to get married in a church, and she said no, because it would be a lie. He's not religious, and so I don't want to have a church wedding and have it not be true. So Mike is planning on having the wedding like on the property, which seems like the smartest thing to do, especially if you have all this land and it's during coronavirus. Like, go ahead and have it on the property. All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Stephanie and Ryan. So we start off this episode with a little preview of what happened last episode, and it was great. I was sending your ass money because all you wanted to do was sit on your ass. First, we see a picture of her and her cats, which is so crazy. Who did she commission to make that piece of art? Return it. Get your money back. Steph is packing because she is finally allowed to go to Belize, and she is so happy. Things I take to Belize to my 27-year-old boy toy. She has 12 watches for Ryan, and all 5 of them that we saw were horrendous. One of them was $3,000 and it has snakes on it. The other one she was really excited about is because she found a pair of pants that matched it. Steph just wants to buy Ryan things. I don't think he's actually asking for these items, and she just is like purchasing all this stuff for him. She bought him shoes, shirts, pants, underwear. It's this too much. It's like, I don't even know what to say. She's gonna bring her mother's ring because she wants for Ryan to actually propose to her. They haven't seen each other in 10 months, and they've been acting a bloody fool with each other over the phone for the past 10 months, and so it's now time to reconcile and build trust within each other. But don't forget, Stephanie is still harboring that secret that she had sex with his cousin Harris, which I'm pretty sure he knows about. And I wouldn't be surprised if after they had sex, Harris was trying to hit her up for money and clothes as well. Ryan loves skulls, so she brought him a lot of items that had skulls in them. Also, matching clothes that they could wear together on the beach. Wow. Next shot we see is Stephanie struggling with her suitcase to put it in her trunk so that she can speed off to the airport. She gets to the airport and she has on a mask that has her and Ryan's picture on it. I mean, what is up with these women in their early 50s, late 40s, wearing shirts and items or buying mugs and stuff that have the picture of their beloved on them? Like, what? I'll put you as a screensaver, but nothing more than that. But we see her land in Belize and she takes Tropic Air, which is like, oh my God, you take Tropic Air too? Sometimes I take the Minus. So what happens is when you get to Belize City, if you're trying to go anywhere else, like you're just gonna take a really small plane to those other places. And that's what she did, and it was so familiar to me. And I was like, Tropic Air, I see you, little 7-seater, I see you. They fly to the places that I go. So I go to Dangriga and I'll go to Hopkins, or I'll go to Dangriga, or I'll go to Punta Gorda. She gets to her destination, I guess it's Ladyville, and Ryan meets her at the airport with flowers and balloons, as he should. She's so excited to see him, lots of hugging, lots of kissing, and we see Ryan for the first time, and he is a whip-thin little man. Like his teeth, Ryan looks like he doesn't bathe. He just looks so unkempt, and it just, how did you even fall in love with this guy? He says that he met Steph when she was like 48 or 49, and he was like 23. I'm just like, why? Maybe just to get free stuff, get some money, get to America. It was all a scam from the beginning. And that they've had their ups and downs, but he's here to make amends with her and to try to figure it out because he really wants to get to the United States. They both insist that they've only been fighting due to the distance. But my thought is, if you guys are fighting due to the distance, then you guys don't need to be together, because this really 10 months is not that long. Did you guys notice that Stephanie's tan is just getting darker and darker? And it doesn't look like a natural tan. It's like spray on tan or like tanning lotion. It's just like darker and darker in every still or every shot of her. So once they get to the hotel room, she starts to unpack and she gives him all of his slides, his shirts, his underwear. Then she busts out some glow-in-the-dark rubbers, as she calls them, which makes her such an old person. Who calls them rubbers? And she says, okay, so there's 40, and because you like to have sex 4 times a night, then that'll last us 10 days. Then she said that she brought some tape in case he doesn't want to use the rubbers so that she can tape him up or something like that, girl. I don't know. She gives him the watches, tells him how much each of them costs, tells him not to lose it because it was $3,000. And he's like, honestly, I would rather have the money than the presents. $3,000 on that ugly ass watch? That shit is crazy. That doesn't even fit on his wrist because he has such small, dainty wrists. Stephanie then asks to go through his phone so that she can discern whether or not he's been cheating on her. When she goes through his phone, she finds that there is nothing to be worried about. Then she tries to allude to the fact that he probably deleted all of the things that she needed to be worried about. And he says that he's just going to leave his phone open and take away the password while she's there so that she can feel comfortable. It feels like Ryan is trying to do whatever he can to roll out the red carpet for her, to make it so that she doesn't get upset during this trip at all. So later on that evening, she puts on a crazy dress and has even a crazier handbag, and they go out to dinner. And Ryan holds no bars. I mean, he was like, I would like the lobster, please. And she's like, I would like a margarita on the rocks with salt. And he was like, that too. She hadn't even ordered yet, and Ryan had already ordered his food because he knew that he wanted the lobster. I wonder if this is the hotel that he works at. And the worst thing about it is that she makes him put on that head wrap. So he's got on this ugly, like, flame head wrap for the rest of the time. And I'm just like, these are all bad choices. And every time she tries to like poke the bear to try to figure out if he's being faithful or not, or how he's feeling. And it's just like, it's too much. And even when they start to have a conversation, she's like, well, I don't want to fight. And he's like, no, babe, we're not having an argument. We're just talking. He's doing his damnedest to try to keep their relationship on even keel. At dinner, she gives him the ring and tells him, okay, now this is in your hands. You know, we've talked about the fact that we want to officially get fianced. It's your job to do so. And so he takes the ring and he looks at it. He's looking it over. And then she says in her confessional that she's excited for this, but at the same time, she's still nervous about the fact that she has to tell him about Harris. So it looks like their next segment is going to be pretty explosive. Also, if you guys have been on Instagram, you know that there's some drama, some spoiler alert drama happening with Ryan and Stephanie. Now, I don't know all of the details in order to talk about it here, but it looks like Stephanie is making some wild allegations about her time in Belize and how production just kind of stood back and let him abuse her. The next couple that we're going to talk about is Brandon and Julia. Julia is out there feeding the chickens or the goats or whatever, hating every single moment of it. She hates it so much that she just quits and goes and has a conversation with her father. I hate this, and this is like movie that I hate. Shut up! She's so angry at the chickens that she's telling them to shut up. I mean, this woman is frustrated. So she goes and she sits on the porch and she calls her dad. And she's like, Dad, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Brandon is not being a man. We're having to live with his parents and it is horrible. And I don't want to be here anymore. And I feel like I just want to come back to Russia. And her dad's like, yeah, if Brandon is not being the man that you need him to be, then you need to tell him and talk to him about it. He needs to step up and stand up for you. So then she calls Brandon while he's at work. And she just like, Brandon, I hate it here. I want to go home. We need not live here anymore. Brandon, this is stupid. I hate everything. Brandon is like, well, I don't understand what's your problem. Why you can't just feed some cute animals? I'm just like, Brandon, what are you doing? That's his angle? Well, what's wrong with feeding some cute animals? First of all, they smell to high heaven. It's not like it's some cute kittens that she needs to put out some milk for. This is a full-on farm that she needs to go out and feed all these damn animals. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, it's so dramatic too. She's got like dirt on her face. When she goes to call Brandon, she is in the same clothes as she was out there feeding those animals in, and then sits in her unmade bed. Now, my thought is just throw the whole thing in the washer now because you've got your dirty germs of the animals on this nice clean sheets. Throw everything away. Disgusting. I tired live here. I try help, but it's not working. I tired stay not in my kitchen. I tired not touch stuff. I tired be here alone. I tired go sneaky room. Like I'm baby. Brandon is not being helpful at all. I know he's frustrated because he's at work. Then he gets home and then he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, I already told you what's wrong when I called you earlier. And he's like, well, I feel like you're not giving it a chance. And she's like, no, I already gave it a chance and I've decided that I don't like it and we need to move. I can't live here anymore. We need to move not tomorrow, not the next day. We need to move today now. And he's like, but he really can't afford to move and he doesn't understand why she doesn't have the patience. And he just is like, you know, she needs to be really understanding and grateful to the fact that we're allowed to stay here rent free so I can save up. And I was like, well, baby boy, you need to pull out another line of credit and get you an apartment, period. You didn't think this through. She's not a kid. She's not like you. She's a full adult. And a full adult can't just come and live in someone else's house, especially with all these crazy ass rules. After Brandon is done shutting her down and trying to make her feel bad about how she's feeling, he then acquiesces and said he'll do something about it and that he'll be the man that she needs him to be. And she says, thank you. The next person we're going to talk about, or the next couple, is Yaara and Joby. All right, so Yaara is still in shock after finding out that she's pregnant. Or did I say that? Oh yeah. Yaara takes a pregnancy test and it turns out she's pregnant. Even though for me, what I saw didn't look like she was pregnant. I only saw one line and I think that pregnancy test needs 2 lines to show that you're pregnant. So she calls her friend and tells her friend that she's pregnant and she's like, I don't even know how to feel about this. Like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I'm in shock. So the next day she goes to the airport to pick up Joby and he started drinking at 8:50 in the morning and she calls him out on it. And he just tells her to shut up and then they get into a cab and go about their business. That is the end of their segment. I imagine there'll be more to their segment next week. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Amira and Andrew. All right, so Amira has just landed back in France and she's got all her items with her, including some like plastic shoes that they had to show us. That I guess that she's like clackety clackety tick 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 walking through the airport. And she gets there and sees her dad and her dad gives her the most awkward hug I have ever seen a human being give another human being. Listen, I've been given some awkward hugs in my lifetime, but I imagine if I had been detained in another country, my dad would have mustered up some kind of energy to give me a better hug than that. It was so odd. And then he stuffs her into the smallest car ever and they go off to their home. So they then stop and go to lunch. And when they're at lunch, she is talking about everything that happened to her and her father is just like, you know what, this is all terrible and it's all Andrew's fault. He put our family through a lot only because he forced you to go to the country when it wasn't safe to go. And Amira says that once she got there, she knew she was being detained because in 30 minutes they had taken her passport and they had taken her phone and then didn't give her any information after that. When she's on the plane, the stewardess hands her an envelope that has the reason why she was detained and her passport in there. And they put that the reason why she was detained and sent back was because she didn't have her passport. So they lied. And then the stewardess, she gives me my envelope and in the envelope is my passport, and you know the reasons as they say that I am not allowed in the country is because no passport, but my passport is right there in the envelope. I don't think that Andrew understands what I am going through. I love Andrew and I go to Mexico because I must prove to him that I love him. But I don't think that Andrew understands everything that I have been through. Amira's dad is over Andrew 100%. He really thinks that they should break up. And Amira says, I don't think that anybody would want their father to not like their intended, so it's my job to fix this because I really love Andrew and I want to be with him. When she gets home, she talks to Andrew, and Andrew is living it up in Puerto Vallarta. Okay, once he found out that she was safe, he was like, oh, I guess I'll just stay here and have a relaxing time. So we see him on an ATV, and we see him getting his pasty, hairy back rubbed. And Amira's feeling some kind of way about it. She would have rather him just go back home so that they could both be in their homes at the same time. But no, he's like, no, I'm gonna stay here and have fun. And she's like, okay. And then he's like, yeah, so I guess our next step would be that there are other countries that you could probably try to leave from. So maybe, and she's like, Andrew, I just went through this. I don't want to think about me doing this again. And he's like, oh no, I'm just being stupid. I'm sorry, babe. Like, yeah. And she's like, okay. And so because he's vacationing, having a good time, she doesn't feel like it's the time for her to talk about how she's feeling and how this situation has really affected her. And that's really sad. That's it. There was no Tariq and Hazel in this episode. You guys, it was a lot. I mean, the Natalie and Mike situation actually came to a good end after the last couple of episodes of her just showing how much she hates Mike and Mike just trying to make it work and kind of lording the fact that she's in the US and they're supposed to get married. And he's like, listen, I already paid the money for you to get here on this K1 visa. If we don't get married, we don't get married. Looks like next episode there is going to be some drama. Amira and Andrew, I just love Amira. Like, I would like to see more of her and less of Andrew. Stephanie and Ryan, their shit is about to skyrocket. It looks crazy. All right, you guys, so that is the end of this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let's have a kiki and a conversation down in the comment section, and you let me know what couple you're the most interested in hearing about and what couple are you absolutely over, okay? Have a fantastic week. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, okay? I'm watching you. And don't forget to watch my other videos. Have a fantastic week, you guys, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. You can't film without everybody just like, they just won't be quiet today. Just like have so much to say on a Monday at 7 p.m.